Hello, everybody. I hope that the sound is good. Let me check it real quick. Make sure everything is turned up and that this computer did not turn anything down. So let me check here. Make sure volume is good. Um, Looks like everything's
Hello,
turned on.
everybody.
Oops.
I hope that
Hang
the
on.
sound is good. Let me check it real quick. Make
Okay, so I got the sound turned on over there. Got everything turned up in the background 100%. Hopefully that's loud enough that everybody can hear me. So, real quick information to get out of the way. Today is 12/26/2024. Yay! We got through Christmas. Okay, that's in the past. We're getting ready to come up on New Year's. Resolutions here. Grow this channel is one of my resolutions. So please hit like and subscribe and share. All right, so time is 11:56 a.m. Yes, I am doing a live stream earlier today. Oops, got a bell. 2.5. Let's see where that's hitting at. That's if my EMSC wants to work for me, because it doesn't want to work for me today. Okay, the 2.5, I believe that's Indonesia. So let's see where this earthquake is. Might have to refresh this. I've had this open for just a little bit. It's all the way over there on the other side of the world. Let's do a refresh real fast. Okay, so information for anyone who is a friend of mine who is watching this stream. My little clumsy butt went out this morning and left my house, went to the post office, and I got butterfingers and I broke my phone. So if you need to get in touch with me, I have an email address. All you have to do is go through my about and click the description there. You'll find an email address so you can email me. Or if you are friends with me on Facebook, then you can message me. But other than that, I am going to be incommunicatable. Incommunicatable. So, no phone for anybody who is friends of mine. I've already let some of my friends know already. So, I'm using Facebook to communicate right now. And when I get the time to, I will replace my phone. But that'll probably be after the first. And hopefully, I'll still have the same phone number. Anyways, that's just getting that out of the way. All right. So, yeah, just something happened. Getting butterfingers. All right. So, the news. I did 2 videos this morning. They have been posted already. One of those videos is, and I posted those on my channel already, about bald eagle officially becoming the U.S. national bird. Now, if you're like me, you're like, hey, let me show you a beautiful picture of this eagle. And this beautiful picture was given to me by friends of my friend. So I have the rights to share this bird. So this is a beautiful picture that she sent me that I asked her, could I use on my live stream? And she said, yes, I could use it in my video and my live stream. So I am sharing her artwork. She is a photographer. She does beautiful, beautiful photography. Um, so, if you're like me and you didn't know, I thought growing up, even until now, that the eagle was the national bird. Turns out, until Christmas Eve, it was not the national bird. So, Biden has signed the national bird into law, and now the eagle is the national bird, the bald eagle. So, yep, I did a video update for that. And he also signed 50 laws into enactment, even though I think that those laws should have waited until Trump got into office and allowed him to make decisions on what would be happening from now on out. So I think there's been a rush by one side of the government to make sure that laws are enacted that the other side of the government may have to undo. But we'll see what happens from here on out. Okay, so there's been a 3.3 in the Bali Sea, depth 14 kilometers deep. Richard, how are you doing today? I see there are 3 people. If you are a human, please say hello in the chat. Bet it was a turkey vulture. Wait, bet it was the turkey vulture before. No, it was the eagle. A lot of people assumed that the eagle was the national bird of the United States. I grew up thinking the same thing, that the eagle was the national bird of the United States. And for that reason, I always thought that it was. It's like on pretty much everything, so why wouldn't it have been? It has been called the national bird, but it was never recognized legally as the national bird. So now it has been recognized as the national bird of the United States. Good morning, George. I went to the post office today, still no mail. So I am wondering if they sent it to Fayetteville, Arkansas. For all I know, it's in the Antarctic. I think my numbers on YouTube are not working. That is fine. It keeps saying 3 people are watching, but yet I can tell you that there's 3 people, or me and George and Richard, which is fine. Me, George, and Richard can hang out. We're doing good. We got this. What other news I have for you guys? Azerbaijan has confirmed that the Russian missile shot down the plane in Kazakhstan. So that is sad. A sea level rise has put 13 cities at extremely high risk. Rising seas could reshape America's coastlines, with Florida cities like Miramar, Pembroke, Pines facing the greatest danger. So that is something to keep an eye on. Even though the Kremlin is warning against speculation that Russia shot down the Azerbaijan airlines, and that's coming out of NBC News an hour ago. So you got one reporting that, and that's coming from RBC News Ukraine, is saying Azerbaijan has confirmed it, and NBC News saying Kremlin is warning against speculation. So wonder which one it really was. Can we trust the news? A court ruling has delivered another win for Trump ahead of his second term. Spicer has claimed Trump can remove federal employees at will. They're debating. There's debate surrounding President-elect Donald Trump's authority to slash workers from the federal workforce have recently intensified. Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer claimed that Trump can remove federal employees at will, confirmed by a recent court ruling regarding the firings of Trump allies by President Joe Biden. The Department of Government Efficiency is looking to eliminate federal employees working from home, with co-leaders Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy promising sweeping layoffs. In 2021, Biden dismissed Spicer, Kellyanne Conway, and Roosevelt from military academy visitors boards despite their congressionally mandated terms. Spicer and Vought challenged their dismissals in court but lost. Spicer stated it was forcing them to argue in the affirmative that they had the ultimate authority to fire anybody at any time, which they did, and the court accepted that. So the Biden administration is now on record in court, and the court agreed. that the president had absolute authority to fire anyone that he wants. The judge ruled that the power to remove appointees is inherent to the power of the appointment unless explicitly restricted by law. The ruling therefore implies that Trump could similarly dismiss Biden appointees without legal hindrance. Spicer said the whole point is now on day one, Trump can go in and fire everyone and say it was Biden folks who told us we could do this. Well, you know what? I say clean it out. Clean out the office. Get it all ramped up. Put in new people and get it over with. So you got an island for me? Sure. What's the island? Let's send it to me through Messenger. We have an island that we usually do every day. Well, let me see here. You put it in chat. Okay, so North Sentinel. Let me go look this one up here. Okay, I can do this one. All right, you guys, today's island is North Sentinel Island. And let me get this Google. Do I want this Google Earth up? I don't think I do. We're going to use a different Google Earth. Okay, here we go. Whee! Oh my goodness, that was fast. Well, it looks like we're in the middle of the trees here. Okay, so that's North Sentinel Island here. All right. Y'all, please behave in chat. North Sentinel Island is one of the Andaman Islands, an Indian archipelago in the Bay of Bengal. So let me say, make sure this is the right one. Yep, it's okay. Which also includes South Sentinel Island. So this is North Sentinel Island. Let me see, where's South Sentinel Island? Maybe this is it over here. There's South Sentinel Island here. The island is a protected area of India. It is home to the Sentinelese, an indigenous tribe of voluntary isolation who have defended, often by force, their protected isolation from the outside world. The island is about 8 kilometers or 5 miles long and 7 kilometers or 4.5 miles wide. Now we are talking about North Sentinel Island, so let's go back to North Sentinel Island over here. This is North Sentinel Island. And the area is approximately 60 square kilometers or 23 square miles. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Regulation of 1956 prohibits travel to the island and any approach closer than 5 nautical miles or 9 kilometers. In order to protect the remaining tribal community from mainland infectious diseases against which they likely have no acquired immunity, the area is patrolled by the Indian Navy. Nominally, the island belongs to the South Andaman Administrative District, part of the Indian Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. In practice, Indian authorities recognize the islanders' desire to be left alone, restricting outsiders to remote monitoring by boat and sometimes air from a reasonably safe distance. The government of India will not prosecute the Sentinelese for killing people in the event that an outsider ventures ashore. In 2018, the government of India excluded 29 islands, including North Sentinel, from the restricted area permit or RAP regime in a major effort to boost tourism. In November 2018, the government's home ministry stated that the relaxation of the prohibition on visitations was intended to allow researchers and anthropologists with pre-approved clearance to finally visit the Sentinel Islands. The Sentinelese have repeatedly attacked approaching vessels, whether the boats were intentionally visiting the island or simply ran aground on the surrounding coral reef. The islanders have been observing shooting arrows at boats as well as low flying helicopters. Such attacks have resulted in injury and death. In 2006, islanders killed two fishermen whose boat had drifted ashore. And in 2018, an American Christian missionary, 26-year-old John Chow, was killed after he illegally attempted to make contact with the islanders 3 separate times and paid local fishermen to transport him to the island. Now, I read that story. He kind of asked for it. The Ang, one of the other indigenous peoples of the Andamans, were aware of the North Sentinel Islands' existence. Their traditional name for the island is Chia da Quokweya. They have strong cultural similarities with what little has been remotely observed amongst the Sentinelese. However, angst brought to North Sentinel Island by the British during the 19th century could not understand the language spoken by the North Sentinelese. As such, a significant period of separation is likely. British surveyor John Ritchie observed a multitude of lights from the East India Company hydrographic survey vessel, the Diligent, as it passed by the island in 1771. Humphrey, an administrator, traveled to the island in March of 1867. Towards the end of the same year, summer monsoon season, Nineveh, an island merchant ship, was wrecked on a reef near the island. The 106 surviving passengers and crewmen landed on the beach in a ship's boat and fended off attacks by the Sentinelese. They were eventually found by a Royal Navy rescue party. An expedition led by Maurice Vidal Portman, a government administrator who hoped to research the natives and their customs, landed on North Sentinel Island in January of 1880. The group found a network of pathways and several small abandoned villages. After several days, 6 Sentinelese, an elderly couple, and 4 children were taken to Port Blair. The colonel officer in charge of operations wrote that the entire group sickened rapidly and the old man and his wife died, so the 4 children were sent back to their home with quantities of presents. A second landing was made by Portman on 27 August 1883 after the eruption of Krakatoa was mistaken for gunfire and interpreted as a distress signal of a ship. A search party landed on the island and left gifts before returning to Port Blair. Portman visited the island several more times between January 1885 and January 1887. Indian exploratory parties under orders to establish friendly relations with the Sentinelese made brief landings on the island every few years, beginning in 1967. In 1975, Leopold III of Belgium on a tour of the Andamans was taken by local dignitaries for an overnight cruise to the waters off the North Sentinel Island. The cargo ship MV Russley ran aground on coastal reefs in the mid 1977, and the MV Primrose did so on the 2nd August 1981. After the Primrose grounded on the North Sentinel Island reef, crewmen several days later noticed that some of the men carrying spears and arrows were building boats on the beach. The captain of the Primrose radioed for an urgent drop of firearms so his crew could defend themselves. They did not receive any because a strong storm stopped other ships from reaching them, but the heavy seas also prevented the islanders from approaching the ship. A week later, the crewmen were rescued by a helicopter under contract to the Indian Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. The Sentinelese are known to have scavenged both shipwrecks for iron. Settlers from Port Blair also visited the sites to recover the cargo. In 1991, salvage operators were authorized to dismantle the ship. Salvage operators. The first peaceful contact with the Sentinelese was made by Triloknath Pandit. A director of the Anthropological Survey of India, and his colleagues on 4th January 1991. Although Pandit and his colleagues were able to make repeatedly friendly contact, dropped coconuts and other gifts to the Sentinelese, no progress was made in understanding the Sentinelese language, and the Sentinelese repeatedly warned them off if they stayed too long. Indian visits to the island ceased in 1997. The Sentinelese survived the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and its aftereffects, including the tsunami and the uplifting of the island. 3 days after the earthquake, an Indian government helicopter observed several islanders who shot arrows and threw spears and stones at the helicopter. Although the tsunami disturbed the tribal fishing grounds, the Sentinelese appeared to have adapted. In January of 2006, 2 Indian fishermen, Sundar Raj and Pandit Tiwari, were fishing illegally in prohibited waters and were killed by the Sentinelese when their boat drifted too close to the island. There were no prosecutions. In November of 2018, a 26-year-old American Christian missionary named John Allen Chow, who was trained and sent by Missouri-based All Nations, was killed during a legal trip to the restricted island where he planned to preach Christianity to the Sentinelese. The 2023 documentary film The Mission discussed the incident. 7 individuals were taken into custody by the Indian police on suspicion of abetting Chow's illegal access to the island. Entering a radius of 5 nautical miles or 9 kilometers around the island is illegal under Indian law. The fishermen who illegally ferried Chow to the North Sentinel said they saw tribesmen drag his body along the beach and bury it. Despite efforts by Indian authorities, which involved a tense encounter with the tribe, Chow's body was not recovered. Indian officials made several attempts to recover the body but eventually abandoned those efforts. An anthropologist involved in the case told The Guardian that the risk of a dangerous clash between investigators and the islanders was too great to justify any further attempts. North Sentinel lies 36 kilometers or 22 miles west of the village of Wandoor, or South Andaman Island, 25 nautical miles or 50 kilometers west of Port Blair, and 60 kilometers or 30 miles north of its counterpart, South Sentinel Island. It has an area of 59.67 kilometers or 23.4 square miles and roughly square outline. North Sentinel is surrounded by coral reefs and lacks natural harbors. The entire island, other than the shore, is forested. There is a narrow white sands beach encircling the island, behind which the ground rises 20 meters or 66 feet, and then gradually to between 46 and 122 meters or 151 and 400 feet. Near the center, reefs extend around the island to between 0.9 and 1.5 kilometers, or 0.5 to 0.8 nautical miles from the shore. A forested islet, Constance Islet, also known as Constance Islet, was located about 60 meters or 2,000 feet off the southeast coastline at the edge of the reef. Let me see if I can find Constance Islet. Constance Islet. Maybe it's over here. I don't see it. Maybe this is it. Nope. Huh. Well, this is the island. Hmm. It's at the edge of the reef, so the reefs would be out here. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake tilted the tectonic plate under the island, lifting it by 1 to 2 meters or 3 to 7 feet. Large tracts of the surrounding coast reefs were exposed and became permanently dry land or shallow lagoons, extending all the island's boundaries by as much as 1 kilometer or 3,300 feet on the west and south sides and uniting Constance Islet with the main island. Ah, okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe it was this one. The island is largely covered in tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forest. Due to the lack of surveys, the exact composition of the terrestrial flora and fauna remains unknown. In his 1880s expedition to the island, Maurice Vidal Portman reported an open park-like jungle with numerous groves of bulletwood trees, as well as huge buttressed specimens of Malabar silk cotton trees. Indian boar found on the island. The boar are a major food source for the Sentinelese, with reports by Portman referring to a huge heap of pig skulls near the Sentinelese village. The IUCN Red List lists North Sentinel as being an important habitat for coconut crabs, which have been otherwise extirpated from most of the other Andaman Islands except for the South Sentinel and Little Andaman. North Sentinel Island along the South Sentinel is also considered a globally important bird area by BirdLife International, as despite the lack of surveys, the pristine habitat likely supports a diversity of bird life. The marine life surrounding the island has also not been very well surveyed. A large coral reef is known to circle the island, and mangroves are also known to fringe its banks. A 1999 report from divers near the island indicated that the reefs around the island were bleached in the 1998 El Nino, but had since seen new growth of coral. Sharks have allegedly also been seen in the waters off the island. Sea turtles likely also occur near the island. As Portman referred to them as being a major food source for the Sentinelese, and one was cited on the 1999 survey of the surrounding waters. Dolphins were also cited on the same survey. North Sentinel Island is inhabited by the Sentinelese, indigenous people who defend their voluntary isolation by force. Their population was estimated to be between 50 and 400 people in 2012 report. India's 2011 census indicates 15 residents and in 10 households, but that too was merely an estimate, described as a wild guess by the Times of India. Like the Jarawars, whose numbers have been decreasing, the Sentinelese population would face the potential threats of infectious diseases to which they have no immunity, as well as violence from intruders. The Indian government has declared the entire island and its surrounding waters, extending 5 nautical miles from the island, to be exclusion zone to protect them from outside interference. The Andaman and Nicobar region 1956 provides protection to the Sentinelese and other native tribes in the region. The Andaman and Nicobar administration states in 2005 that they have no intention to interfere with the lifestyle or habitat of the Sentinelese and are not interested in pursuing any further contact with them or governing the island. Although North Sentinel Island is not legally an autonomous administrative division of India, scholars have referred to it and its people as effectively autonomous or de facto sovereign. So, there you have the interesting island of today and its history. I hope you have enjoyed that. And this is Little Andaman Island here. This is South Sentinel Island here. And then I'm missing the other island. There it is. And then we have North Sentinel Island here. George says it was supposed to be the turkey, but Ben Franklin said no, looks like it knows their history. For shame on y'all. Richard says, very friendly bunch they are. He says, I want to move there. So cool. Nope, I don't think I want to move there. Let me see here. Let me look and see if I can find their houses. Um, North Sentinel Island houses. Oh, you meant look on Google Earth. Well, we can try. Hang on. Let me do that. I didn't even think about that. So, Google Earth. Let's do that. Okay, there's the island. So, I would imagine they live near the beach. Probably not going to get good views. There's the beaches. I don't see any. Pretty well hidden. Maybe here, but can't really tell with this Google Earth. Those are trees. This is Constance Island here. So we were looking for Constance Island. So it's right here. I don't see any houses on here. You would think this is a barren island. Anywho, I was looking. Let me see images. So, let me see. Okay, let me see here. This is the right spot. No, that's not it. Um, I'm looking for. I did find a picture, but if you look really close, then you can see some boats on the beach. These are things on the beach areas. There's looks like boat. You're looking for like canoes. So that's not the pictures that I've seen. You can see like little walkways back in here. See the little walkways? Up through here, this pathway there. But can't see much more than that. Anywho, that's what I found so far. Let me see what else I can find. Here you go. Let me get this in here. Okay, so it's here. There's a town, a area, a clearing area here. Can't really tell, but it looks like 4 logs as a foundation and a roof with the fire. So that would be this here. Okay, so that's what I got so far. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Yes, looks like mud huts. A lot of them look like they were made of straw. So let me show you that too. Um, this is what their houses actually look like. If I can show you a picture, save image. This is a picture of what is showing the houses actually look like. So they would look something like this. So that looks like straw and wood. Richard says there are a few pictures online of the people. They hide very well. Such as awesome place. Thank you very much for showing us. Well, you're welcome, and thank you for mentioning it. I had forgotten about this island and about that story. I remember that story from a few years ago, from when that guy went and he wanted to um, preach the gospel to the Indians on that island, and he ended up dead. So I remember that story that happened. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to do a real quick live stream today, hang out for a few minutes. I did do some video updates. I'm going to be doing more video updates as for this next year. So if you're looking, I did this one, which is some of the 50 bills that Biden signed into law on Christmas Eve. I could not find all 50 of them, but I did find some of them. And then the other video I did this morning is the bald eagle officially becomes the U.S. national bird. Now, just like some of y'all, I assumed that the bald eagle was the national bird, but did not know that it has not been the national bird. It's only been called the national bird. So now it is considered the national bird. Okay, so the last earthquake that just occurred is a 2.6, 108 kilometers deep. Where? I'm assuming that's at the top of the world. Okay, so that's up here. The last earthquake I have showing on EMSC is a 2.5, 58 kilometers deep. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, for hanging out with me for the last hour. I appreciate you being here. Give me just a minute. I will be right back. Okay, since I took the headset off, let me check the volume again. Make sure the volume is working right. Sorry, didn't want to take y'all along to the powder room with me. Okay, so let me check this and make sure that it is correct. Okay, that's looking good. This thing has a bad habit of resetting itself whenever I turn off or mute. Okay, so yes, George has just mentioned the volcano in Hawaii has stopped erupting. So let's check out some volcano information. And see what we have. Kilauea's volcano eruption pulls in crowds and fills parking lots in Hawaii. Wow. An eruption at the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii's Volcano National Park earlier this week pulled in crowds and filled parking lots. A new eruption began at the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park early Monday morning, pulling in crowds, filling parking lots, and sparking busy roads throughout the park. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the eruption paused just before 11 a.m. on Christmas Day, though eruption activity could change at any time. Throughout these eruptions, hazards like high levels of toxic volcanic gas and fine volcanic particles are present. Massive plumes of volcanic gas are blown away from the viewing area towards the southwest, spreading over an area that's been closed to visitors since 2008. The plume reportedly reached about 6,000 feet above the ground at times, and by 5:30 a.m. on Monday, a lava lake had covered nearly 500 acres of the caldera floor. In the southwest corner of the eruption, lava fountains reached about 250 feet high. The last time the Kilauea summit erupted was back in September of 2003. So let's see if we got any more infos here. And I'm not seeing anything about they're saying that it could start erupting again at any time, but for right now it is paused. So that is good news. George says, I think it might erupt in the lower rift zone again. It could. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what occurs. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate you having been here today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time, and I aim to make this a short live stream today. Please check out the 2 videos that I have posted over on my YouTube channel. And for those who are friends of mine, the only way to reach me right now is through Facebook Messenger, or you can call me through my computer. But other than that, my phone, I have to get it replaced. So I will let you guys know when I have replaced it. Anyways, you guys, I am going to end my live stream now. I hope that you all are doing well in the world. And I will probably, let me see, today is Thursday, so I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. I am going to be taking Saturday and Sunday off this weekend to do other things that I need to get done with my family. I hope that you all are doing well. Please remember to tell someone you love them. Remember, tomorrow is never promised. Remember to make each day an adventure. Much love, and I will see you on the next one. By the way, Richard, thank you for being here. George, thank you for being here. For everybody who is tuned in to watch today, thank you for your time, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Much love, and God bless.